Hey guys, I'm getting set up to start. So I find it important to talk about this thing because sometimes I feel like we are moving at a very fast speed. You know, there's some people, hey, let's do that one. I like that one. Guys, I feel like sometimes we are going too fast. And I feel we are leaving people behind. Okay? We might be running fast and we are leaving some people behind. So there is people that are still dealing with narcissists, and I think that we are leaving them behind. So maybe I think it's not fair. We kind of try to catch up a little bit with them. Now, there is something. So before we start, we are going to talk about, I'm going to invite somebody and we're going to talk about work. There is somebody that I want him to share with us the experience at work, workplace mobbing, because there is a lot of you guys have been having a similar situation, and I think it will be actually helpful to hear his side of the story. Maybe it will help you better understand this whole narcissistic situation at work. I think it would be a nice idea, okay? Shelly Holloway. Hello, Shelly. How are you? Happy Saturday, guys. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. This thing is moving around a little bit. Okay, Joseph, you can click the link if you're there, and we'll start. Why is this thing moving around? What's going on here? Joseph, if you're online, click the link I gave you. Or maybe what we could do, guys, we could do how's the best way can I do this? Maybe we could do a whole video on this workplace stuff, the work situation and everything. We could probably do a whole video on this. What do you think, guys? So we just talk about work, managers, what. Because I have somebody I want you guys to listen to. There's a friend, follower, subscriber, client that has got a very good, uh, powerful story to share with you guys, especially when it comes to work. So we could do a whole video if you guys think it's appropriate. It's better for you. Now, when I was on my TikTok yesterday, I had a question. So that's what made me realize that we are moving a little bit too fast and we are leaving people behind. And in my experience, I think sometimes I need to step on the brakes a little bit. So I step on the brakes, then I have to look back to see who is trying to catch up. It's what it made me realize that maybe I need to step on the brakes, look back, and maybe try to bring some people on board because we are moving very fast. The ones who have been here, so we have been here for a while, and we have been moving, evolving very fast over the years. And sometimes I'm looking back and I'm seeing that there's some other people that are still dealing with those things, and maybe we need to get back and pick them up, is what I'm thinking. So there was this question that I saw on TikTok, that was yesterday, and somebody wanted me to talk about the new supply. Okay? Guys, how many of you guys are still entangled with the narcissist? Because sometimes I'm a bit curious. So we've been here doing videos for a while, and I would really, really want to know how many of you guys are still dealing with these narcissists? And how many of you have broken free? Because we may be moving too fast and there's people that are still trying to catch up. We need to know, guys. You know? So that comment on TikTok made me realize that we are going too fast. The lady was talking about the new supply, or yeah, they've been discarded. And now the narcissist went on to meet somebody else. There was a new supply in the picture. So I briefly talked about it in the TikTok, but I promised myself that I'm going to come here and we shall the narcissist is the matrix. There's a friend of mine, Eugene. So there was a video that he did, and even at the time, I don't think that we could really understand what the video was about. And video, he said in these videos, which I also already know and believe, the narcissist is the matrix. They are the matrix. They are the agent smiths. They are the illusionists. Okay? How is it a coincidence that anywhere that you are, in any place, doesn't matter, it's a workplace, it is a family, I don't know, school, how is it possible? Everybody that is around a narcissist is operating in fear. You guys have to understand, you know, how is it possible that everybody that is around a narcissistic individual, they operate in fear? Everybody operates in fear. They are at that frequency, fear. For some reason, you don't even know what you're scared of. The narcissist creates these illusions to get you into that frequency, whereby even sometimes you're scared of nothing. They want you to be in that vibration of fear, frequency, fear everything, fear this and fear that, fear this. I'm your father, you should fear me. I'm your work boss, you should fear me. So I remember one time there was a job I used to do many years ago, early 2000s, early 2012, 2011-ish, 2012. There was a job I used to do. So I used to be a cook, and we used to have this team of there was a team of other chefs that we used to, I told you guys I like cooking. So now, so we are there doing our own thing. So sometimes, there's that time when we prepare we do all the preps, so you're just waiting for the customers. I'm trying to see how can I add this? How do we do it? How do you do this? Uh, Joseph, I don't know how to invite you. I was thinking that it's going to be easy. So what I will do, Joseph, I'm going to invite you, but I'm going to use a different platform. On this platform, I think sometimes it's hard to add the person. Let me see. Sagar, I'm good, Sagar. Sharma Sagar, I'm good. Joseph, we're going to do it next time. I'm going to use a different platform, a different site for this, because I'm doing now directly. Yeah. So, listen, guys. Now we are working. We are cooking. I told you that was I was the chef at the time. Then I noticed that these other chefs that I was working with. So whenever sometimes you see the boss is coming, like sometimes we have a little break. Maybe we could have a cigarette, or sometimes we could just be chatting, just sitting next to the kitchen, waiting for the clients to come. And the boss is coming, so these chefs will see the boss's car. And as soon as they see the spot, you're up on this window, and you will see the boss pulling in the driveway. What they call the parking. And all of them used to scramble around, running up and down, scrambling, running left and right, disappearing from different directions. So now they are running, and I don't understand, what are they running for? What are they running from? Why are they running up and down like cockroaches? So one time I asked them, why are you guys running up and down this? Don't you see the boss is coming? So you have to run, and. So me in my mind, I'm thinking that. So what does that mean if the boss is coming? You're supposed to run like cockroaches because the boss is coming. So what are you supposed to be doing? What if you slip and fall? You know? And I'm asking them, why are you running? This boss, you think the boss is a normal human being like you? So me that time I don't know anything about narcissism. It's just later on I'm awakening. And I start to understand what is narcissism, and I start to, kind of like take back my power. But that wasn't the case many years ago. So they are running. I'm asking them, what are you running? What are you running from? Oh, don't you say the boss is coming? Hey, you cannot. I told you, you cannot what? What you cannot what? Tell me, you cannot what? You know? So for me, I couldn't understand at the time that this was fear. It was a thing of fear whereby somebody puts you in a state where they want you to be traumatized, and because it is through that trauma you can get into that frequency. So they traumatize you to that extent whereby you're going to start be fear. You will start be fearing everything. You know. So one time I'm talking to this guy, and I tell him that, listen, This this thing of running around because the boss is coming. What are we trying to do? What does it mean? Is a normal man, human being, or man, woman like the other, like other people. The only difference is that they employ you, but it doesn't mean because they are your boss, you're supposed to continue like a god. You're fearing them like a god just because they give you a job. They gave you a job or something like that, employment. So you're supposed to be fearing them for what? Take it easy. Just do the work as it's supposed to be. You know your duties. You come to work. You do your assignments. But even then, you have a small break. You know, just a small break for yourself to breathe a little bit because you guys know these kitchens, they can be too hot sometimes. If you've worked in the kitchen, it can be too overwhelming sometimes, the heat and the chaos, the noise. But there is bosses that exaggerate the whole experience because they are the boss. So that thing of boss and bosses and there is nobody on this planet who likes power like narcissist people. Those people, they take the power by force. So when they come into a workplace, we're going to do a whole video. Actually, we should do a whole live because I've told you there's one of our members that I want us to talk with this work thing, and he's going to take through us this workplace mobbing and everything. So you see these people, they exaggerate their power. So everybody's supposed to be, frightened. You're supposed to be shaking because the boss is coming. You start to be shaking. What kind of BS is that? Your boss is coming, so you're supposed to be shaking in your legs because your boss is coming. So what about them? You have to do your job because you know your assignment. You enter the job, you do your job. It's why you see me, I used to leave a lot of jobs. Because me, I couldn't understand where does that power come from, whereby somebody just walks in and you start to, you're shaking in your pants because the boss has walked in. What kind of BS is that? It's why sometimes I used to walk out of jobs most of the time because I couldn't handle that kind of BS. You know, you can respect somebody without fearing them. There's a difference. You can give them respect, yes, because they're your bosses, they deserve the respect. But fear is something completely different. It's something different entirely. You know, the narcissists have brainwashed you to think that you're supposed to fear them. It's not true. You cannot fear nobody. Yes, when you don't show them that you fear them, is what exactly they do. Because so how come that everybody fears me? They want to be the Almighty, those kind of energies, the Almighty. So if you don't fear them, they send you out of work. It is what is usually what exactly they do. But I'm supposed to tell you guys, listen, there's nothing to fear. You have got to refuse that frequency. Fear is the frequency. You have got to refuse that frequency. You do not operate in that frequency of fear. It doesn't matter what it looks like. There's a difference between respect and fear. Them, they want you to fear. It's beyond respect, they want you to fear. Because that's where they operate. It's their frequency, that's where they operate. Okay? These guys would run. They would run. You see them sometimes, the kitchen is slippery. One of them almost slipped. And I told, what are you running, guys? Why are you running like chicken? You're running for what? Because the boss is coming, so what? The boss will not kill you because you're taking a small break to breathe. There's nothing wrong with taking a small break to breathe. You know? The whole workplace experience, let me tell you something, and especially when you're a chosen one, it is completely messed up. They want you to walk on your knees because they gave you a job. So you're supposed to be working on your knees, you know? So the reason why they see a lot of times chosen ones, you lose your jobs. Because they start to realize that you're not operating at that frequency. You're not all about that fear. And that is what they want, because that's how they steal your power. So when they can recognize that you don't have that fear, you know, you just simply know what you need to do. You do your assignments. Even sometimes you do extra, and you walk away. That's when you become a threat. So now they're going to say, "Oh, this one is too, you know, who do you think you are?" You know. Then they send you these letters. What do they call those letters? Get out of the, you know, they send you out of the company. Even sometimes they can send you out without doing anything. You haven't done anything. They will still send you out of the company. Because you're not operating at that frequency, you do not see any reason to fear another human being just because they're your boss. What does that mean? There is nobody on this universe that wants power more than these narcissistic people. There's nobody will tell you that nobody on this universe wants too much power like narcissistic people. And as soon as you give them that power, they become the Almighty. They become like a god. They have always been waiting for that moment. You give them the power, they become like a god. Is why a lot of times you find them in law enforcement, you find them in those positions where they need somebody to kneel down and beg them. It is the only way they can feel relevant. When somebody is on their knees begging, oh, please give me the job, please, please, you're begging for the breadcrumb, you know? Is how they feel energy when you are crawling on the floor and, you know, begging for the breadcrumbs. Is how they can feel validated, you know? A narcissist doesn't want anybody who remembers their power. That is the worst thing can happen to a narcissistic individual. The one that remembers their power and they refuse to give it to you is the person the narcissist hates the most. Is where you become the problem. That's where the scapegoating will start at work. You're going to see your managers scapegoating you. You know, they're starting to put all this rubbish on you, garbage, they start to mob around. We're going to discuss with one of the members, I've told you. There's a video that I'm going to do. And we are going to discuss, I'll bring to you one of our members that have got a very long experience with that workplace mobbing, you know? And I'm sure many of you guys here have got a similar experience. I've had my own share as well, so many years ago, you know? But for a chosen one, when you refuse to conform and you refuse to do, you know, what this one is doing, you're going to be, they will scapegoat you. They will say you're the crazy one, you are doing this or you are doing that, you know. Exactly. You can still obey, doesn't matter. You can still do the right thing and they are still going to mess with you because that is exactly what they do. Okay? The narcissist is exactly who they are, that is what they do. They like power. So you guys have to start creating. You know, you guys, this is the time where by chosen ones you have to start creating. You know, you guys have to start becoming creators. I don't know what creation means for you. What do you want to create? You can use some of your gifts, your skills, create something on the outside because that is there's going to come a time whereby your gifts are the ones going to save you. You know. Do you know how easy it is to replace you if anything happens to you at work? Do you know how easy it is the company to replace you? And do you know how fast a company can replace you in few hours? You can be with them for the last 25 years. They can replace you in 30 minutes. Anything small happens, they're going to replace you. They put some replacement very fast. That is how irrelevant you've been 25 years. And in most cases, they will not even give you the support you need. what do they call them? Those sick leave or whatever. They can even some stuff. They will start running around with you in court. They don't want to pay you the sick leave. They're ready to replace you in 30 minutes. They're going to call somebody. They just go to the shelves and pull out those CVs that have been lining up. They call somebody else. You're replaced in 30 minutes after working for them for 20 years. So you have got to start to step into your creative abilities, ladies and gentlemen. A time is going to come where you need to be creative so that you can survive on your own. You cannot rely on somebody who can replace you in just within 30 minutes and they have a replacement for you. Do you really think that your boss cares if you went home or if you didn't come today or whatever? If it's you have got a holiday coming up, you have you know, it is just simply easy to replace you. You know, it's so easy to replace you. So you don't matter. When you learn how to create, maybe you want to do something with crafts. I don't know if you're a painter. I don't know if you're a designer. I don't know if you what. Anything that you can do on the side that can bring in anything. It doesn't even sometimes have to bring in a lot, but it can bring in something that can help you to survive. Because when you keep on relying on the entire thing, relying on the entire system, the system can abandon you in a day. Within minutes, you abandon. They can throw you out in a day. You guys have heard about people that have been working. You know, they have been working, putting all their efforts in a company. In one day, they was fired. They are sitting at home. There's one old guy I used to know. He used to be a very, very humble worker, very, very good worker, very nice, humble guy. And he has been working for a very long time. The next time I saw him, he was sitting at home. He said something happened and they sent him home. He's at home now. You know? The guy is sitting at home after all those years of putting in that work. You have to start creating on the outside. Anything, you know. Nowadays, the world is big. The platforms are growing. There's different platforms. You can produce stuff. You know. Start writing that book, ladies and gentlemen. Start pursuing that career somewhere. You guys see what I'm talking about? Okay, let's remove the bots. Okay, you guys get it? Hmm? I need some moderators. So I need somebody who has been with us for quite some time. You know, the bots always come in and they can say different stuff. But anyway, what I'm trying to say, guys, create something on the side. Learn to use your gifts. You know, the system gets you too occupied whereby you cannot even have the time to think about yourself. Then you're going to be in the company, running the company, doing things, doing that. One day they're just going to send you out of the company and you're going to go in cycles. They can abandon you, they can just discard you in one day. A narcissist can discard you. You guys know how the narcissist discard works. A narcissist will discard you. All those people you're working with, a lot of them are narcissistic people. Not all of them, again. Men are narcissistic people, they can discard you. In one day, you will be jobless. By the time you get home, the TV is waiting for you. They have already set you up with this Netflix. Oh, I didn't catch up with that drama thingy series I was watching. Now you have to sit down and watch some series, and then you know the kids need some food. Okay, I need to fix the food quickly, quick. You see all the time is going, but the majority of the day you've been at work. Your time just goes like that. You go eat, then you watch some series on TV, now you're exhausted. You go to bed, you know? The next morning, the cycle repeats. Now you start running a loop, you know? You start running your life in a loop. You're running and coming back to the same place, running and coming back to the same place, the same cycle, abuse and everything. It's all energy. By the time you sit down to say, okay, now it's weekend, let me think about something new, you know, you're already thinking that, oh, maybe I need to go and do the overtime because, you know, maybe there'll be more money. That kind of loop is a cycle. And then on Sunday, you want to go to church. The church is waiting for you. At home, the TV is waiting for you, the kids for food and everything. On Sunday, the church is waiting for you. By the time you come back home, you just have a few hours to sit with family and you have to catch up with the movie. On Monday, the same cycle repeats. It's a cycle. And then when you burnt out, something happened, you run to the doctor. Then you get the medications. Now you come back home, start starting the. You guys, you have to wake up. You just have to wake up. That's what it is. It's a cycle. There is nobody has made this world the worst place to be. The way narcissists have done. Narcissists have destroyed the entire planet. You know, they have destroyed the entire planet because if you see what they are doing in every society, every pocket of society, if you see what these people are doing, it's unbelievable. The moment you wake up and you say it's enough, I have enough of this BS, that's the moment you will see the truth. So me, I used to have a lot of different jobs I used to do, a lot, you know, throughout my life. And I started to see the cycle. It was the same cycle, different job. I said, okay, let me check. Maybe let me try that job. It could be better. I will go to the next one. The same cycle repeats. Then I'll think, okay, maybe not this one. Let me try this one. I go to the next one. The same cycle. I started to recognize the cycle. That's when I knew there was something wrong. I knew there was something wrong. It couldn't be possible that this was a similar cycle in a different environment, but similar cycle. There was something wrong, definitely. Hey, you can trade, you can do some small business. Many of you guys, ladies, you are very, you have some skills with hairdressing, you know how to plait, you know how to do this salon, you know how to, you know. The cycle repeats until you learn how to use your gifts. The cycle is going to repeat. You will get some little breadcrumbs. As soon as the salary comes in, the rent is waiting, this one is waiting, that one is waiting, the money goes out. On Monday, you go back on repeat. Even sometimes you don't even see where the salary went. It's all been used up. So there has to be something else. You cannot be living like this. This is not life. You know. You start to get sick of everything. You know. The cycle repeats. Me, there's a time I was living somewhere and I was doing jobs. I would hop from one to another just to try to see if this one is better. Maybe that one is better. How much do they pay in that one? This one is, $2, $3 more. Okay, I'm gonna try that. So I went to that one. The cycle repeated. And then you keep him on hustling and struggling, looking for the next best thing. The next best thing does not arrive unless you start to use your gifts. It is just a similar cycle. It is a system. It's just a matrix. You just go in a loop. Different locations, different boss, different jobs, same loop. So there was a lady who said yesterday that she was concerned about the new supply. Now, when I saw that question, I remembered it brought me back in memory, down the memory lane. I remembered many years ago when I was dealing with those situations. The new supply is not, and this is going to be for the ones who, the ones of you guys just starting to deal with this situation. You don't know what has been happening. You have got to understand the new supply is not their fault. Okay, they need blood, they need energy. Hey, the more stress, you sweating and running around fear, that's what they need. For them to thrive, you have to give that kind of energy. Then they give you some breadcrumb. And this whole thing is messed up. Really, you guys, when you start to wake up, you will see how the whole thing is really messed up. It has always been messed up. It wasn't just paying attention. So the new supply is not, that's not their fault. The new supply, first of all, the so-called new supply is not actually a new supply. That supply has been playing there. They have been there playing in the background. They have been somewhere hidden. So he wasn't paying attention because he didn't know. The new supply has been there in the corner. You were the one who didn't pay attention. A narcissist has got to have a plan B, plan C, and sometimes even a plan D. It is either meeting somebody new or just recycling the old control. What do they call it? The old, what do they call it? The old supply. It is either getting somebody else the new supply or they can recycle the old supply. One of the two can work. For them is okay. Now, when you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, it is very important to understand. Many of us, we have fallen for it because we didn't know what was happening at the time. The narcissist is secretly securing somebody else on the side. So they are taking some time to find a replacement because they know that this whole game is going to end. They know that at some point the whole thing is going to fall apart. And they have to move somewhere more comfortable. They have to move to a different alternative. They have to have another option on the side. So now that's where they're going to start the cheating game. The cheating game normally doesn't happen in the beginning of the situationship. It can somewhere happen in the middle, okay? When they start to feel like they're getting bored and sometimes, they are kind of getting, that just gets bored very quickly. So within a year or two, you can best believe they're already tired of that relationship. They want something else on the side. Not that they want to discard you, okay? They want something that is going to be on the side, a fresh supply on the side, but not intended to discard you all the way because they also still need your supply. So they are going to cheat on you. You may now start to find them on what do they call those things, those platforms, what do they call them? Those dating sites. They may be moving around, starting to talk to their neighbors. They may sometimes talk to their workmates. They may start talking to anybody. They are going to start securing a supply on the side. That supply is going to be at arm's length. It's going to be in a distance whereby they know, if need be, they can be able to actually pull in that supply when necessary, at any time necessary, at the time necessary. So what they do, they're going to continue fooling around with you. Yes, you may fight around a little bit. Sometimes it's going to be a good day, sometimes it's going to be a bad day, but they may be playing that game. They're going to continue to play that game for as long as necessary. But whenever they get the chance, is when now sometimes you may hear them say, okay, we are going to, there's something going on at work, there's a business trip happening, you know. So now what they do, they're going to find an excuse and they're going to tell you they're going on a trip. During that trip, they're going to have a chance to meet with their supply. Their supply has always been there. But they are grooming that supply slowly, okay? And in some case scenarios, even that supply could be halving. their own, they could be married, they could be in a relationship. Okay? They could be in a relationship, they could be married, they could be having a girlfriend somewhere. But the narcissist is going to keep them at an arm's length because they are waiting for the perfect time. You know? They're waiting for the perfect time. So what they do, the moment you ever wake up and say you're going to leave the relationship, you've had enough, you've seen everything, you've been going through the cycles, you're tired, and they feel like you're pulling away. I can promise you this is something I saw and I wish I knew what was going on at the time. The narcissist is going to jump in very quickly and they are going to start giving a lot of time to that new supply. And again, like I've told you, it can be a new supply or it can be a recycled supply, the one that has already been there. It was an ex, they dated 2 years ago, 5 years ago. So they could recycle that supply if need be, if necessary. But if not, then they can actually go ahead and meet somebody else, the new supply. That is where a lot of victims of narcissistic abuse, they mess up. And that is something also that I did. Because this whole thing takes you by surprise. The narcissist has been cheating, secretly cheating, and you didn't know anything about it. You guys have a small misunderstanding, and they're going to jump to somebody else. Just in one day, 1 minute, that person said it was a couple of hours. Is it a couple of hours? They had somebody new in a couple of hours. I told them, no, relax. It was not a couple of hours. The new supply was already there. You was just the one who didn't know. The new supply has been there. Okay? So, what the person now does, that is what I did at the time because I didn't know those things. I thought that, oh, so this was cheating or something. No. You sometimes want to go and confront the new supply. You want to know how long has this thing been happening. A lot of you women, you find yourselves confronting. You find yourselves confronting the new supply. You know, maybe you saw your boyfriend with a new guy, your husband with a new girlfriend somewhere, and you want to go straight to attack the new girlfriend. You have to slow down. The new girlfriend doesn't necessarily know everything that is going on. The new girlfriend is being groomed. Because when the narcissist meets that new girlfriend, that so-called new supply, the new girlfriend or new boyfriend, they are telling them everything about you. All the things you're not doing, you're not a good listener, you this or you that. They're talking a lot of garbage about you. They're telling them a lot of things behind the scenes, the ones you do or you did or you didn't do. So the new supply doesn't know the real truth, what is going on in that situationship. They are being lied to. That's why they call it grooming, because they are finding a way how to seduce them, to bring them into the situation, the equation. So when you run and attack the new supply, sometimes you're going to make a fool of yourself. Because the new supply has got a completely different image about you, a different picture, a different narrative about you. They have been hearing a lot of bogus things about you. So sometimes you might end up sometimes confronting somebody, you can get into a fight, and you guys are going to hurt each other for nothing. It is understandable because you don't know what is happening. It has happened in that time many years ago when I didn't know what was happening, and I was going on the confrontation to understand this person, where did they come from? And it was one of the most painful things I have had to endure, because this is something that's happening in front of your eyes, especially when you have been in a very long situation, relationship, whatever you call it, with this person. So it is very painful indeed. For the one in that situation, it's very important to understand, do not get into contact with the new supply. Don't confront the people. Don't ask them anything. They don't know anything about you. They know only the bad things. They don't know the good things. The narcissist already told them a lot of lies about you. And while the narcissist is grooming the new supply, they are grooming them and they are love bombing them at the same time. So you best believe they are giving them a lot of attention and energy, because they want to make sure if anything happens, they are now starting to feel the energy. One day at a time, they feel you're pulling away. your energy from them. They can feel it. So they are just waiting. It's a matter of time. Because I remember many years ago, for example, I told the nurses, listen, I was hoping that I want to end this relationship because it's not making any sense. You know, is what I was thinking at the time, a couple of years ago. Who was fighting, arguing, this and this. I could feel that it wasn't making any sense, you know? So, which means that when you start giving those signals, the narcissist understands that it's just going to be a matter of time until you're going to pull away and call it quits. Okay? And that is exactly why they start to find an alternative. Slowly, slowly, they're going to be on the side planning a plan B. They will be on the social media pages, they will be on the dating sites. Secretly, they can open different profiles and they're going to start looking for somebody because they know the time is going to come and they're going to pull away. The person that you call the new supply, it is not a new supply. That person has been there in the background. You are calling it a new supply because you didn't know. So this person just appeared out of the blue and they just showed up, but you didn't know anything. But they was there. The narcissist knows the details about that person. You guys are following? So they have been there, is what I'm trying to say. And there is one thing you should never do. One thing you should never do as a survivor of narcissistic abuse, you should never ever confront that individual. Don't do that, okay? When you know that that man is cheating somewhere, there's a girl, you've seen the girl, don't approach that woman. If you're a man, do not approach that man. It is going to be very difficult, but you have to do it. You have to get yourself together. A new supply will never confront you. If you have not confronted them, they will never confront you. A new supply cannot come from anywhere. It could happen. I don't say it could. You never say never because these things you never know. But usually it is very uncommon for a new supply to confront an old supply. Even the nurses cannot allow that to happen. A new supply cannot confront you. They cannot come and bang at your house and enter your home. It is very difficult. It is very rare that that thing can happen. It is you that confronts the new supply because you are excited. You are seeing this person that you didn't know before. Where did they come from? It feels like something out of a fairy tale. You have not seen this happening. You call them cheating and you want to know where the person is coming from. So what the person does, the first thing comes to your brain, I'm going to go straight ahead and you attack the new supply. A new supply will never attack you. They are also careful at the time. They are paying attention. They are a little bit more careful. They are not stupid. So they want to come in slowly, okay? They know that this person might be seeing somebody else. However bad the relationship could have been looking, they have already had everything, but they cannot come in directly to attack you. It is not possible. The only time when a new supply will attack you is when you're dealing with a psychopath. So when you're dealing with a psychopath, what happens? A psychopath is willing to go the extra length to get you out of the way because they want to date your woman or your man. So if that woman ran into a psychopath, let me say it could be narcissists who ran into a psychopath. Those ones were a little bit more physical, the malignant, or I don't know what they call them. Then the psychopath could go on the attack because they want to get you out of the way. Especially if you're dealing with something that involves money, insurance, all this life insurance and everything, the psychopath wants to get you out of the way because they now see it is very important for you to get out of the way so that they can come in. There's something, there's a lot to lose in this situation, so they could go on the attack, but rarely. But even then, they're going to be calculative. They don't do it just stupidly like that. It is very rare that a new supply is going to attack you. The new supply is even sometimes a little bit afraid of this whole situation. They are watching everything from a distance. Okay? So it is only when the narcissist will tell them that, okay, listen, this is what has been happening. and we have broken up with so and so. Okay, I used to tell you there was not good for me, there was cheating, this and this. They will say a lot of stories, and cheating is one of them. The nurses will tell the new supply that you're cheating on them. While they are cheating with the new supply, they're always going to tell the new supply you're cheating on them. So when the situationship is ended, they now go and contact the new supply, and they're going to tell the new supply is over. Okay? They're going to tell the nurses it's over. The new supply that is over. So, the guy is gone, the woman gone, man or gone, whatever. Now the new supply is going to start preparing himself or herself to fully engage in the situation, because they have already been confirmed. It has already been confirmed that you're out of the way. You're out of the picture. When you're ending a relationship with a narcissist, and the narcissist knows, this is why you guys have to be very careful. Many of you guys that are dealing with this situation, when you have been dealing with a narcissist, and the narcissist can clearly see this whole thing has come to the end. Okay, it is, we have been trying to do a little things here, and they know that the narcissist will know that this thing is ended, it's finished. They are going to make sure, they are going to try very hard to get you out of that situation ASAP. You know, they are going to make sure that they get you out of the picture very quickly. I took the boat out. Yeah. So they're going to make sure that you get out of the picture very quickly. Okay. So many of you guys are content creators. There's something you need to know on these lives and whatever they are bots. There's these NPCs. So sometimes they are coming in. They have got a very, I don't have the best word to call, but they have a different setup in their brain. So sometimes they're going to come in and they're going to write out of crop. They don't know what we're talking about. They're writing things that are not connected. That's when you know that you're dealing with somebody who is not a regular person. It's like a bot, something like they don't know what we're saying. They cannot be, put things together. So when you see them, you just remove the comments. You just know that it's a bot, so you just block it or delete it. So the narcissist, like I'm saying, there comes a moment where they feel this thing is done, with, is finished. They can see your energy is, you're pulling out. So normally in that time, they want you to get out very quickly. For them, it has got to be them that have to end it. So is why most of the times when you're living a narcissistic individual, they are the ones that want to discard you, because you discarding them is a very big, you could say, it's a very big blow to their ego. How are they going to explain this to their family members and friends that, oh, so and so discarded me, this and this? They want to be the ones to discard you. So they want to maintain the power. They want to be the ones running the show, you know? It is not possible for a narcissist to go and tell someone, their family members, that, oh, what happened to your relationship? Oh, they threw me out of the house. They ended the relationship. They cannot say, they cannot do this. It is for them very big, very important. Big injury, exactly. Very important for them to keep the narrative of they are the ones that discarded you. Are you following? It is easier for them to explain that, that man was up to no good. I threw him out of the house. That woman was useless. I sent them out. A lot of you guys have been working in this job place. We've been talking about the jobs. So the boss wants to fire you before you fire yourself. Are you guys following? It makes more sense when the boss, the narcissistic boss, can actually fire you before you fire yourself. You know? So they will be planning to fire you slowly, slowly. You will not do anything. A lot of you guys who have been working in these corporations, you know this. They are going to be secretly plotting with their flying monkeys to gather some information so that they can fire you. Because if you fire yourself, the company the company's image will be bruised because how come this person left the job? That means that you guys are doing something, something awkward or something funny. That's why that person left. So when you fire yourself out of the company suffers an injury. It's a very big blow to their ego. So they are the ones who fire you. It is the same thing with narcissistic relationships. The narcissist wants to discard you. That is how they maintain the control. You know. So when they have been able to discard you, yes, a lot of you guys here, you have done it yourself. You have fired yourself, you have walked out, and that is a very good thing. You did a very good thing. For you to walk out on your own, it was the best thing. The best thing you've ever done. You didn't wait for the letters. You just fired yourself. That was the best thing you've ever done, because now you can justify leaving the company for your own reasons. You can say they did this or this, and you left. But in most cases, they know that you want to get fired. You want to fire yourself, or you want to leave. So sometimes they can go in advance to fire you. So they maintain the control, okay? It's how narcissistic people operate. That's how their brain works. So when you leave the narcissist, like I'm saying, it is exactly when they're going to very quickly. You will never see this coming. You will not know how it happened. It doesn't matter if it's a workplace, if it's a job. What they do, as soon as you leave, that same day, before the evening, before afternoon, you're going to find somebody. You're going to find a replacement. The narcissist does not care about you. You guys, it is very important. This is very difficult to say. Many people cannot understand this. The narcissist does not care about you. It doesn't matter your father, if it's your partner, if it's your boss at work, they do not care about your needs. They are not wired to care about your needs. They are wired to protect their interests, their profits, their companies, their families. You do not matter. There was a president recently, there was an interview I was watching, and there was this president, they asked him if he's not worried about what people are saying. Don't you hear these things people are saying, this and this and this? He said, he doesn't care. He told the interviewer, you know, he doesn't care who says what, he just feeding his family. He said his family, he didn't say the country. He said he's feeding his family. He doesn't care who says what. He's feeding his family. The whole president for the whole country said he's feeding his family. So who says what, they're shouting, he doesn't care. As long as his family is okay, he's feeding his family and everything is okay. He doesn't bother who says what and who does what. They don't care about you. You have to understand this, Chezwa. They do not. One of the things that broke me free when I was understanding narcissistic abuse is understanding that these people, they don't care about you. They're not worried about you. You can leave, I've told you. They will fire you 10 o'clock. In 2 hours, there's a replacement for you. As soon as you leave, as soon as you walk out and you've packed everything, they're going to call somebody else. And you may sometimes come back, maybe you've forgotten something, your jacket in the closet, whatever. You're going to see somebody in your position. They do not care about you. This is something you have to understand. Many of the times you'll hear them telling you things such as, you can leave, we can get somebody else. If you want to go, you go. We'll get somebody else. That is how irrelevant you are. In any situation, job, relationship, anywhere, this is how irrelevant you are. They can have a wake up, yes, they do have a wake up call. Sometimes they can have a wake up call. Okay? There'll be moments where they may sit down a little bit to reflect, oh, this person was a good person, whatever. Because you see, when that new supply comes in, usually what happens, it can be new supply who came in to fill your position at work. Or it can be new supply who came in at the workplace or in the relationship. to replace you. That is when the whole company is going to realize that new supply is doing a lot of nonsense. They're doing a lot of garbage, you know? If it's a relationship, the narcissist now realizes that the new supply is a downgrade. And it's when now they start to, that thing starts to kick in, because you see those people, they don't have the brain to process. They cannot process something that, okay, so let me wait. Maybe I need to check first of what is happening. No, 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 no. The new supply comes in, they move in for it. They go in for it. They are not going to ask anything. If it's going to work or not, they are going to find out later. In the workplace, when the new supply walked in, they're going to realize that the new supply is doing a lot of garbage. Workplace accidents, miscalculations, doing this, messing up work. They're going to realize that you did the work better than them, but the ego is too big for them to come and realize, or sometimes acknowledge that you was the best thing in that company. They will not have that thing to come and tell you this because their ego is way over the top. The same thing with your ex-partner. She will not come and tell you that you was the best thing they ever had. And they cannot come and tell you that the new supply messed up or they messed up. The new supply is not better than you. They cannot tell you this. They are going to keep it to themselves. So for the empath, hey, like for example, you can have somebody who replaced you in the workplace, you know? They want to replace you, so they replace you in the workplace. And what does happen? The new person that came in that workplace, what they do, they will start to copy your ideas. You might have had a method that you used to use at work. It depends what corporation was, whatever you was doing. So you can even sometimes find the managers or supervisors, they are telling them to use your ideas because that's how effective you was. So they are now copying, they are copying the ideas that you used to use to get it effective. So they are copying your styles. Is why I've told you sometimes, even in a relationship, the new supply comes in. And what does the narcissist do? Okay, guys, I'm going to get a temporary moderator, okay? Because I cannot check everything. New Day, can you moderate for us for now? Let me put you as a moderator here. Moderator. Okay. You can name me to moderate for now. If you see the box, just remove. Okay? So when you see that little tool, that's a moderator. A new supply can replace you in the workplace. And what does happen? The new supply will now copy the same methods that you was using in the workplace. It's how this thing works. If the new supply is in a relationship, you are going to hear some of your neighbors will tell you things like, do you know that actually the new boyfriend for your partner or new girlfriend for your partner, they are now driving the same car as you? Let me say that you had this like a Honda. So what the new supply did, the new supply came into the relationship, the narcissist made them go and buy the same Honda that you used to drive. Sometimes you're going to see them copying the same clothes that you used to wear. You will be surprised to wear to one day. This is how you know that you're dealing with people that are mentally broken and mentally messed up. You will see sometimes even the food you used to eat, they may not get it 100%, but they're going to be trying to copy the food you used to eat. It's not because they don't have their own style of food. They have. But you see, the narcissist misses the same style of food you used to cook for them. You could have been a woman who used to cook very good food. Now you left, they got a new supply. What happened? They told the new supply how they should cook the same food you used to eat. You used to cook when you was with them, so they're going to copy your food, your cooking style. You know, is what happens. One of the things that will help the empath is learning what is narcissistic abuse, learning the mechanisms, learning the techniques, getting aware of their tricks, their game. You learn the entire playbook is how you win. So me, I've told you, I did a mistake many years ago. I went and I confronted the new supply. Hey, this, what this? Who are you? This. Have you guys know that situation whereby you run into your partner with somebody else? And this thing is very common with ladies. It happens with the men too, but this thing happens a lot with ladies. You see this man moving around holding hands with a new woman. You cannot wait for that. You don't have that patience. You're going to go for it. You're dating this narcissist and you're moving around in town and you're going to see them in the corner holding hands. Ladies, you know yourselves, you're not patient for this, you're not waiting for this. The man may be trying to be patient, but the woman will not wait. You're going for it. You need answers. Who are you? Where do you come from? What's going on? What is this? You're going to start fighting. You're going to confront the new supply. That is the mistake. There is sometimes where the new supply actually doesn't know anything about you. You could have somebody have been married with the man. And what happens? That man was cheating on you, but he never told that partner about you. So sometimes the partner doesn't know about you. That new partner doesn't know about you. Okay? What is now happening? The new partner, when you go and confront the new partner, thanks, Ricky. When you go and confront the new partner, you're making everything worse. When you confront the new partner, you're making it worse. Because sometimes you're catching the new partner by surprise. They have not heard anything about you. There is some who will know about you. Yes, the narcissist may have told them, oh, I'm still married, but we are trying to get divorced. The woman is not good for me. They are playing games on me. They are doing the tricks. Okay, they may do that. But there are some new partners they don't know about you. And this is true. When you found them in the street and you went ahead to run and confront this woman or man, you guys are going to start tearing each other's clothes with somebody who don't know anything about you. So sometimes it's a very good thing to get some answers first. Try to dig. If you can get to the truth, who are you? Where did you come from? Did you know I'm so and so's wife? Then now you can see what to do, which other course of action. But still, I do not recommend violence because I've told you, I was in a situation where it was very close to violence. It was very close going to start fighting and make a scene. And that is the last thing I wanted to do. So you can imagine how big ego the narcissist will be when you have a narcissist on the side and there's two ladies fighting for them. Do you know how big they're going to feel? Do you know they're going to start feeling like a boss? they are fighting for me. That's what the is going on in their mind. So they'll just be sitting down at the back there. They are, let them fight. I'll go with the winner. You guys know these narcissists how they behave. So for them, they enjoy seeing the two girls are fighting for them. Oh, these ladies are fighting for me. They feel that is a very big massage for their ego, to their ego. Two girls fighting for a narcissist? Do you know how big a narcissist will feel when two ladies are fighting for them? So I very nearly fell for that new supply game and whatever BS. I was going to fight with the person. I didn't know. So I had to step back a little bit and think, okay, this relationship was messed up. It was time to go. I knew that. It was, yes, painful, but I knew that. But at the same time, I wasn't expecting that it was going to happen in a very short time. It's not like you just walk around, there's somebody else. Sometimes you want to walk away to get your mind clear, because when you're dealing with a narcissist, there is moments whereby you think that, okay, people need some time apart. Go and heal, get your brain right, get your mind right, go and take some time for yourself. It's not a situation whereby you walk out and there's somebody else replacement the next day or the next evening. It's not like that. So learning the narcissist manual is very important. Learning how the narcissist operates, that is what gives you your power. The narcissist is very weak. If you tell the narcissist that they are weak, you're so weak, you're nothing, you're nobody, you're nothing, that is the last thing they want to hear. They are going to go into rage. They can even jump from the eighth building and they can even harm themselves. The moment you tell a narcissist that they are weak, they don't have power, and you remove the power from them, they can even self-harm. They can cause themselves self-harm because you're removing everything. It's like you're stripping them of this thing they want the most. The power that they have been borrowed, the power that has been borrowed from somebody else. So when you show a narcissist that you are fighting for them, who is that woman? Why this and this? Oh, that thing. That is the thing that will massage the narcissist ego. You don't even know how the narcissist feels about those kind of incidents. So you have to refuse to give them that power. You refuse to give them the power. Do not fall for it. Now, the new supply, there can be a chance it could be another empath like you. It could be. You're not the only empath out there. There could be the next empath. It's possible. But at the same time, it's important to understand the new supply is also caught in a trap. Before the narcissist tries to mention anything, this is what happens with narcissistic people, by the way. You guys have to understand. Before the narcissist explains their story to that person, they are first of all going to make sure they seduce the person and they're going to sleep with them instantly. This is even something that could happen in one night because they need to love bomb that person. By the time the person starts to think, their mind is already gone. That's how they do. It's a very seductive spirit. So let's say, for example, they met on the first night. A lot of these things you guys see them in movies. It's true. These things happen even in reality. You know. The narcissist will quickly, very swiftly, love bomb the person. Why? Because by the time the person starts to think, okay, by the time they start to get back to their senses to think. Their brain chemistry is already messed up, so they cannot think straight. So now they're going to start telling the new supply, oh, you know, I married this woman, but you know, she's this, she's that, she's not, she doesn't care about you. She always screams around. She does this and she does that. The nurses will start saying a lot of those stuff. And what is the new supply saying? Oh, sorry to hear that. Oh, you know, we can fix this. Don't worry about it. Hey, this. Hey, whenever you need somebody, call this, call me, this and that. That's how they start grooming. They'll come back the next week. They'll come back the next month. Whenever they get a chance, okay, that's how the cheating starts. Whenever the narcissist feels bad, they call the new supply. Oh, she's left me in the house. She didn't make me breakfast. This and this and this. That's how this thing starts. By the time the new supply realizes that the whole thing is messed up, they have already walked too deep in the whole game. They have already been in the game too deep. And they don't know how to get out of it. And the love bombing was very intensive. Okay? Intimacy, 100 out of 100. Attention, 100 out of 100. The love bomb was very intense. Now they're starting to dive deeper into that person. They're getting feelings. They're catching feelings. So by the time you decide to leave the relationship, you're like, okay, I'm gonna walk away. So you say it's not working, you want to leave. The first person who's going to come in the narcissist mind is that new supply. The first person who will come into the narcissist mind, it will be the new supply. So they're going to walk in very fast. So you broke up with the narcissist today. Let's say you had the discard. The discard happened today. And sometimes you've been fighting with her. Oh, who is this? Who is that on the phone? Hey, this. Who is so? Who is Peter? Who is this? Who is that? And you've been fighting around sometimes, and it wasn't making sense. Then you broke up with the narcissist. You had a discard. You got discarded. Very quickly, I can promise you that same evening you may be surprised. If you didn't sleep in the house that evening, the new supply could have slept in your bed. That is one of the first things I had to realize. The new supply could have already slept in your bed. They have already been in your bedroom. This is one of the things that a lot of empaths find very, very disturbing. You just went for a work trip, okay? Conference, whatever, maybe you traveled, maybe you went home to see your parents. In that particular night, the new supply slept in your bed. So you come back from your conference, from your holidays, and you're hearing the stories from your neighbors. Hey, you know what? We saw your husband, I think. We saw one of those best friends. You remember that best friend from the other party? Yeah, we saw them at your house. We thought that they was coming to see you. Your best friend was in the house. That is how bad it is. When you're dating with a narcissist, that's how bad it is. That is how far they can go. You know, no boundaries, no respect. They don't have limits. They don't have time to think. You know, Eh, you found the earring. So if you find the earring, sometimes you can find their underwear in the back seat. A narcissist can go all the way. It is very, very difficult to date a narcissistic individual. They will go all the way. There is no time to think. Maybe this is my wife's house. This is my wife's bed. I cannot bring somebody here. What about the kids? What are they going to think? What about this? That is my boss. No time. They do not, they can't. It's not possible. They go all the way. You will think when you're going to do something, it doesn't mean that empaths we don't mess up. We have also had our own moments, you sometimes would mess up in one way or the other. It was not perfect, but you always had time to reflect. You could sit down a little bit and say, okay, this thing you're thinking about, you can think about, okay, so what about this and what about that? You kind of try to measure up everything. You figure it out a little bit. A narcissist is not wired to think. They can only think after it has been done, you know? First do it and think afterwards. No, in that time they cannot think. The end of a narcissistic relationship is very chaotic. So you don't just think that, oh, it's going to be the end of the relationship and you're just going to pack some bags and you're going to walk out and this is going to be chaotic. So that is one of the things that many empaths actually have to go through. The breakup, the discard is very, very dramatic, you know? The narcissist doesn't want you to go. Not because they love you or they care about you, they love you. No, no, no. It's not because they love you, you know? They only want you because you are their little supply. But the abuse is too intensive. You cannot handle it. You want to leave. They don't want you to leave. So when you want to leave, they love bomb you, they gaslight you a little bit, or they try to, make you feel guilty, whatever. Oh, you cannot leave your father. I'm your father. So what do you want? You want me to stay here and die? Now they're going to start guilt tripping you. You want to leave me here to die? Don't you see I'm your father? I've looked after you your entire life. You're now going to start to sit down and think, oh, yeah, that's the empath. So you're sitting down to think, oh, but she is my father. So how can I leave my father behind? You know? I cannot leave my father behind because, this and you're now starting to think. You say, okay, I'm going to wait a little bit. Let me get back in there. You get back in there, the abuse kicks off. This time it's even double. Demons that want to feed. So when you're running away, you're trying to discard a narcissist. You're taking away their food from them. That is what it looks like. You're removing their food. Okay? So they will not have any food. And for them, they are very hungry. They need that food. When you remove yourself, you're removing the food. So they cannot stand this. They have to love bomb you, drag you back in the whatever, this guilt tripping and what. Anything they can do to keep you safe. But just in case everything fails, the new supply will come in. All the tricks have failed. There's nothing else to do. The new supply is going to come in. Even in families, when you're discarded, or maybe you discard yourself. Normally, the black sheep, they discard. Actually, this is the only situation I know in families where the black sheep, they discard themselves from the family. They remove themselves from the families. Okay? They will wait. A black sheep will wait for as long as it takes. But the time comes whereby there's nothing else to wait. You've been waiting for this father, the same person today, tomorrow, forever. You have to go. So you walk away. As soon as you walk away and the family can confirm that you've walked away, there's a new scapegoat. You're going to call in a few days or whatever, you're going to hear. They have already made your sister a scapegoat. One of your brother's family members is a scapegoat. You're going to start to see a pattern, okay, where they are now putting and pumping and pouring that energy onto one person. The same energy that you used to receive, they are pumping that energy towards one person. And they are going through it. Andrea, so you guys are following. So before you run around blaming the supply, shouting, hey, who are you? Who do you think you are? Where did you come from? No, 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 take it easy. You have got to exercise patience. I've told you that I nearly messed up in that time. I nearly messed up because I was boiling. The first time I saw the new supply, I was boiling. But then something in me told me, so what next? Okay, you're boiling up and then the fights and what? So what next after this? What's happened next? I started to think about all these things. Then I said, okay. I started pulling back very slowly. I started pulling back. I went home. I had to go through these emotions. It was very painful. And eventually I healed from it. I have never seen the most difficult thing I ever had to do was to heal after narcissistic abuse. You can heal from a wound. You can heal from a wound, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody had something, what do they call those things? What do they call those things? Like something broken, joint problems. You can heal from those things. You go to the doctors, you get different types of medication, you heal. Narcissistic abuse? Healing from abuse is difficult. You have to think about the time you spent. You've been 20 years with this person, investing time in the wrong energy. It's what I've told you guys, these nurses, they are agents. They are agents of the devil. So they keep you busy for 20 years in abuse. By the time you leave this abuse, you don't have time to think about your purpose, what about your plans, what did you want to do, because now the relationship is finished. Maybe you've been 30 years, now you've reached your 60s, maybe 70s. Now you're starting to think, so, okay, what do I need to do? Ground raising, Patrice. So what do I need to do? They have already burned 30 years of your life. Somebody here, 11 years. I know another one, 14. I know another one, 24 years. That lady from yesterday was 24 years. They have burnt you. These are agents of the devil. There's no other explanation. They're the agent smiths, the masters of distractions, manipulation, and the matrix rewards these people. Do you know that the matrix rewards those vampires, guys? The matrix rewards these vampires. They cause a lot of distress in your workplace, they get promoted. You can imagine that BS. How many times have you been distressed at your workplace? They caused a lot of confusion. And when everything was done, they was rewarded with the next promotion. They was promoted. And then you wake up and they start telling you NPD. BS. That is BS at its finest. What type of NPD are you talking about? BS. Oh, personality disorder. What? Personality disorder? Do they even know what they are talking about, these people? How do you reward abuse? Me, I was gang stalked by a psychopath. I know I don't want to mention this thing because it has been documented. I was gang stalked by a psychopath, a landlord, and a team of flying monkeys. So they attempted to sacrifice me, you know? Did you guys know that I was at one point a sacrificial lamb? A group of covens planned to sacrifice me, you know? Psychopath and different types of flying monkeys and everything. And the psychopath, all these people, they are rewarded. Your gang stalkers, they will get new phones, they will get money for rent, they get gift cards. The matrix is rewarding its agents, you know? So when you see me here helping people, you better understand I've walked the walk. All those your gang stalkers, you see them, they have been rewarded. Many of them, you know, they get rewarded, they get new phones, they pay their rent, they get their money for clothes. Some of them get cars just to follow up a person who can barely feed themselves. Even some of you are homeless, and you have a team of gang stalkers that are rewarded to follow you around in something they call surveillance. So they find a legal way to what do they call it? They find a nice legal way to name it so that it sounds, surveillance. Surveilling a person who cannot even find money for food. And you have a team of people surveilling a person who can't even feed themselves. And you call that legal. And they're rewarded. The problem we have, ladies and gentlemen, is narcissism. The problem is not Afghanistan or this country, which one, who do this or who do this. No, 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 no. The problem is narcissism. That's all. The battle is spiritual. Your job, your duty is to speak your truth. Reason why you're being gang stalked is because they want to put you back in that fear frequency so that you stop talking. They're afraid of what you're going to say. You continue to speak. The universe has got your back. So you will see gang stalkers They want you silent. So when you have to refuse that silence, because that is what your silence is what feeds these demons. So they don't want you to speak, because when you speak, they crumble. So they want to keep you silent. So you have to make sure you speak. Okay? Yes, they take photos. You know, I'm very sure that those gang stalkers, they have already taken a couple of photos. They have screenshots of everything. You know, they take your photos and they send to their masters, their payers, the ones who are paying them and everything. Oh, now you see he's sitting down here doing this and that. That's what they do. Sometimes they're in their cars taking videos. You can imagine that kind of BS. The problem we have, ladies and gentlemen, is narcissism. It's not about which country, Mali, Guinea-Bissau, what, this one, Congo. No. The problem we have now at the moment is narcissism. When that problem is solved, the world will have peace. So it is you against the system, it's you against the metrics. Okay? This whole thing of new supply, NPD, all those are just terms just to keep on distracting you from seeing what is really happening. There will be names. Me, when I woke up, I remember I was reading some information online. I was trying to understand. I followed some coaches. And I started going in circles, oh, NPD, personality, all the malignant, and then what, this, gaslighting, this. I was learning, which was good at the time I was learning because I was just waking up. It was okay. And then one day I sat down and I was thinking, so what are these people talking about? I've been hearing these people, this and that, NPD, this, NPD, that. I was hearing everything. Then I stopped watching all these things and I said, what are these people talking about? This whole NPD thing. Do they even know do I understand what they're talking about with this whole NPD, so-called NPD thing? Do they really know what we was going through, what we really saw? So I unplugged from that NPD stuff. And then you're talking about NPD. It was a call, guys. That's why the sound was glitching a little bit. You know, you have a psychopath. You guys, if I tell you things that you chose once, you cannot believe it. It's unbelievable. And then you go around telling people about NPD. A psychopath, a sociopath, full-blown demons working together with people from the law, following somebody, and you want to come here and talk about NPD. Really? The people that are supposed to protect you, they are the ones working with the narcissist. And you talk about NPD. The battle you're fighting is not flesh and blood, ladies and gentlemen. It's spiritual. You're battling with principalities, okay? You're battling with entities. You're battling with demons. Because if you wasn't battling with demons, you cannot explain a group of flying monkeys, narcissists, and the people that are meant to help you, to protect you, working together to bring you down. There's no other explanation. And you cannot talk about NPD in that. You cannot. You have got to learn to speak your truth. You have got to speak. Your truth is your weapon. The narcissists, they are the agents. They get rewarded for their dirty work. They get gift cards, they get their rent paid, they get new phones so they can do their dirty work. Your truth is your weapon. Document everything. Observe, document, keep everything that is involved with the narcissist is going to help you one day. This one I can tell you true. Whether you're being gang stalked, I don't know what you're dealing with, even if it's a relationship, everything you have got with the narcissist happening around you, and you can identify that, make sure that you keep the records and keep it away in a safe place. One day it will help you. Because when you're chosen, you already understand you're battling spiritual warfare. You're not battling with just normal people, regular people, you're battling demons. And they don't like your truth. That's why they come hard against you, because they hate your truth. So sometimes you hear people, oh, they have NPD, so, they have, the disorder this and disorder that, and you're going in circles. You're trying to wake up and you're going back to sleep. It's like trying to wake up and somebody will tell you that, it's like, for example, you wake up and you want to go outside, you know, but it's raining outside. So you're thinking that I have to go outside, I need to go. Somebody's telling you, yeah, you can go back to sleep, the rain will stop in about 2 hours, maybe half an hour. So by the time you go back to sleep, the rain didn't stop, so it didn't do what you needed to do. It's the easiest way I can explain this. That's what happens when you're waking up and they're putting you back to sleep. You're trying to get out of the illusion, to bust out of this illusion, and somebody's still telling you about something different, you know? And you know the truth, because you see, there is no other truth better than the truth you have experienced yourself. Better than the truth that you have lived yourself. That is the most powerful truth. Is why they are running after you, because they know that you know what is going on. Agents. Chosen ones is very important to understand. Your power lies in your awareness, silence, observation, and truth. Silence, awareness, observation, intuition, discernment, and truth. That is what those demons don't have. Okay? It is not in their manual. It's why you see them, they're moving around in a loop. They can go in circles, come back, they don't have time to understand. So what's happening here? Why is that place looking a certain color? They cannot observe, they don't have a time to understand these things. When I was being gang stalked a couple of months ago, it was that level whereby they was extremely desperate and they started exposing themselves. And I was very surprised that even the people that I knew, you guys have to be very careful with the people that you keep. The people that I held in high regard was behind the whole team. The people that are gang stalking you, they are your neighbors, your landlords, your bosses at work, your supervisors, your workmates, your wives. You guys have got wives in your home, they are gang stalking you. I had a conversation with somebody. They had a narcissist who was sent by the Matrix. The man came in and he had to stay with this woman as a husband, and he was the one gang stalking the woman. He was trying to poison the woman. Husband, they got married. He was sent by the Matrix, and he was been trying for a long time to poison that woman. He wanted to get out of the way. He was working with the system. And you're telling me NPD. Truman Show, go and watch, it's on YouTube. They removed it from the Netflix. You know, those days people started talking about the Truman, and they removed it from Netflix. It used to be there for a while, you know, but I watched it in the last couple of weeks and they removed it. Because when people started waking up and they was looking for the movie, so they had to remove it from the Netflix. But you can watch it on YouTube. You can buy it on Amazon. You can find it anywhere, you know. The Truman Show. If you want also to get more awareness, go and watch the movie. It's called They Live. The Truman Show, yeah. By Jim Carrey. It's by Jim Carrey. Very good movie. I advise you guys to go and watch that movie. Another movie you need to watch, They Live. John Carpenter. It's called They Live. If you want to see these zombies, how they move around, the movie is called They Live. Fallen with Denzel, very nice, our good one. By the way, you guys, I've seen the little bit of it, Fallen. I never watched all of it. I know what it's about, but many people here have also seen that movie, The Fallen. It's a good movie as well. But if you want to know this whole thing of the whole entire show, what is going on, watch the Truman Show. It will give you a picture. They Live is on YouTube, yes. They Live, you can watch it. If you cannot find on YouTube, you can find it you can purchase it. There's a list where you can buy it actually. You can pay for it's like renting. It should be like $3 or something, and you can have it like for 24, you can watch for 24 hours. They Live, yes. They Live is a very good movie on if you want to watch They Live. Those things they help you to understand what we're dealing with here, okay? They help you to understand what we've always been dealing with. The metrics, you guys already know the metrics. I'm waiting for the new metrics. I think I've seen a new metrics, the second one with Will Smith. I think there's a new one that has come out, the metrics. I want to watch that second one. I don't know if it's going to be the one like the first one. So when you're a person who is starting to wake up, there is movies you need to start watching, there's things you need to start to see. It helps you on your journey to understand, okay, that this whole thing has always been a game. You have been trapped in a loop by these bots. Gang stalkers neighbors, yes, the neighbors gang stalk. Sometimes they pay them to follow you up, see what you're doing, check around, when is he going to the shop, what is he buying. So when you have that neighbor who always, whenever you show up in the driveway, they come around and get out of their house. They can have gang stalkers, but this is not something you need to fear. This whole thing is a whatever, what do they call it? Is to keep you in that fear, but don't have to fear nothing. Don't give it attention, okay? Total Recall is a very old movie. The first one is The Truman Show. Truman Show by Jim Carrey. The second one, They Live. Truman Show. The second one, They Live. So for the one who is actually starting your spiritual awakening, it is going to be a very powerful movie you can watch. It's going to help you. They Live. The third one, Fallen by Denzel Washington. That movie will actually help you to understand what I mentioned in my video is called body jumping. How demons body jump from one body to another to get to you. How demons actually, that movie explains to you how those entities get to you. It is body jumping. They just move from vessel to vessel depending on where you are. And they can use different entities, different vessels to launch attacks, the one that is in your vicinity. So that is called body jumping. The movie is called Fallen by Denzel Washington. Yes, Truman Show is a good example. Gang stalking. You can watch Truman Show to help you understand what is gang stalking. That funny neighbor in the shop, that neighbor downstairs who just happens to be in the same area where you were for some reason, all those are gang stalkers. Okay? So it is not to, all this, I do my videos not to give you, you don't have to be fearful. I don't want you to be fearing anything. It's good to know and be aware, but I don't encourage you to be fearful because I don't want you to operate in that frequency. Okay? When you go out, the neighbor is out. You go in, the neighbor is in. You go out, the neighbor is out, and you don't know what is going on. They have been paid. All those are actors. They are paid actors to gang stalk you. Okay? And then you happen to be in the same supermarket in the same day, at that same time, and you think it's a coincidence. That's how gang stalkers work. You don't fear nothing. It's, again, this is a simulation, my friends. And the narcissists, they are part of the whole simulation. They have also been part of the game. They are the ones who have actually caused you a lot of pain. Is why you've been seeing them very long time before. Ever since you started breathing, they have been around. They have been there in your families. You've been seeing them in your friendships. You saw them in your schools. You saw them in your churches. They have been moving around. So that's what has been happening. You know, you've been gang stalked your entire life, is what I'm always trying to tell you. When you're chosen, you have been gang stalked your entire life. The narcissists, they are the agents. They are the agents who have been doing this, whatever. Your father, You know, narcissistic father, another gang stalker, was one of them. Okay? Your copycat at school, gang stalker. There's one time I was somewhere and this gang stalker pulled up with my same shoes. Do you guys know how a person pulls up and they're wearing the same shoes as you? And you cannot explain it. It's very hard to explain, you know? Sometimes they send these bots online to copy your content. Okay, like if you're doing what I'm doing, they can actually simulate these NPCs and they can start mirroring your content. Okay, so you may start to see these bots doing videos, trying to walk in your energy, something like that. All those are gang stalkers. So you may experience those in that scenario as well. So that's how you know that you're a chosen one, when you see those kind of things happening, you know? So you have to take notes, take pictures, take videos. Anything you can do, make sure that you make every small detail you see with these gang stalkers and make sure that you have everything in detail. Whatever information you get, keep it hidden somewhere or you can forward it to a private journalist. Chosen, this is how you fight back. Is how you fight for yourself. Talk to a private journalist or a private investigator. Give them all the information you need or everything you have about who is gang stalking you and what they are doing. Okay? Anything happens to you, they know what to do. Okay? Is how this whole thing works. Because you're dealing with what do they call it? Unhealthy people, unhealthy individuals. So you need to know how to do this thing. Cameras in your house, yes, very good one. In your backyard, yes. Make sure that you record everything. Any small movement you see, get recorded, send it off to a private detective, investigator, or a private journalist. That fake gardener who is trying to pretend he's gardening the house and they are peeping in your windows, taking fake pictures, make a record of those people. Okay, we shall do a different video on gang stalking, but that's going to be a different subject. So, yes, they are taking pictures of you, take pictures of them taking a picture of you. You know? Monitoring spirits. The world is spiritual. We're dealing with demons, principalities is what you're dealing with, chosen ones. It's a very dark world. Is why most of the times when you're getting close to the truth, they are gaslighting you because they don't want you to know. Because when you know, you remember, and that's what they want. They are fighting you. They don't want you to remember. The further they can take you in the darkness is the further you get away from the truth, so you don't remember. Okay. But again, it's all about fear. Don't feed into the fear. It's good to be aware, but don't feed into that fear because it's a frequency. Okay. So the next time I'm going to come and we're going to discuss, I've told you, there's a member that I want him to come and tell us about workplace mobbing. He's a chosen one that has been gang stalked at work. So he will come and tell us more about that experience, okay? And I know that many of you guys also want to share those experiences at work. I know many of you guys subject, what do they call it? They struggle with the workplace mobbing. Yeah, gang stalkers don't want to be caught. So as soon as they see you started recording them, they start to speed off. They will speed off and run. They don't want to be caught because they know that it's illegal, okay? It's illegal surveillance, so they know. So when you get them on camera, they are going to run away and disappear. But fortunately, many of you guys have already called them up on cameras, so it's okay. Because when you catch them on camera, it starts linking back to the ones that have sent them. And the ones that have sent them, they are connected to power. So they don't want to be seen. Is why they tell them when you get recorded run away, they run off the speed of. They can use fake number plates. They can use it's all this whole BS of gang stalking is very, very sick, demonic. I've told you that gang stalking is demonic, you know. Sometimes they put cameras in smoke alarms. They come around and they tell you they want to repair your smoke alarms and they put cameras in your smoke alarms so they can monitor you. There's a woman who used to be monitored for years and she didn't know that there was a camera in her smoke alarm. They used to be watching her like a Truman show, you know. Our own family inside our house. That's how desperate they are to get to you, you know. So the lives are just popping. You just have to be tuned in. You just have to be notified. You subscribe and then you get the notifications. I can just decide to pop in at any time. I don't normally. So let's say around this time, when you have the notifications, you cannot miss the live. You know, if you turn on the notifications, you will get it straight. So, guys, thanks for today. I'm moving on to TikTok. There is something else I want to talk about there. So if you don't follow us on TikTok, make sure that you go and follow us there. Thank you for the subscription. Thank you. We got some new subscribers today. And moderator, and I'm going to leave you on the moderation for now. And the commenters. You're very welcome. And I'll see you guys in my next one, okay? Peace.